Welcome back to the Dumpster Fire podcast. My name is Olivia Claire. Apologies for being away for a while, guys. We've been super busy. Both Derek and I have just been kind of swamped with work and school stuff. So apologies for that, but we're back now and we're really ready to just jump back in, make some longer segments for you guys. So I hope you guys are ready for that as well. So I am, of course, joined by Derek as always.
Hello, hello.
And today we're happy to bring back a special guest, Chris Bertman from Timcast. All right.
So
So we have a lot of
why
stories
is
to
this
cover.
funny? I said hi.
It's just
The
Uh,
You know what you look like right now? You look like the Terminator. You look like
the
Arnie.
Burtonator.
The Burtonator.
Burtonator.
We got the Burtonator.
we got the Bergnator on.
Yeah.
Whew,
Oh
all
yeah,
right.
put some respect on my name.
You're right, you're right.
All right.
So we're going to jump into this first story. We have it actually from Chris Bertman at Timcast that Pearl Davis tweeted that 16-year-olds are more attractive than 26-year-olds. Now, Pearl is someone that we've covered on this channel before, and we all know how I feel about her. And of course, she deleted the tweet in classic Pearl fashion. But the tweet said 16-year-old chicks are hotter than 26-year-old chicks. Wow. I mean, this is on the heels of her going off about 30-year-olds being less attractive than 20-year-olds, and then she took it one step further, which was the step in which you should not be taking. And so, I'm really excited for her appearance on Chris Hansen's new show. That'll be great. That'll really get her some good publicity. I'm waiting for that. So wow. I mean, for me, just like, I mean, I at first was like, this can't be real. Like, she's kidding. But then, like, I looked at it again and I was like, nah, this checks. This actually, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. And since then, there has been a debate online. I cannot believe this debate is happening between people that if 16 is the age of consent in certain states and certain countries, then it's okay to say that. And I mean, I am just like blown away that that's the argument. Like, the age of consent, regardless if you're not 18, is that you need parental consent to like get married and to do those things. So it's the age of consent for 16, specifically in my state, means 16-year-olds and 16-year-olds, and then 17 and 17. But if you're over 18, 16 and 17 are off limits. So like it's like a scale. It's a weird scale, but it's a scale. And like she's 26 or 27. I can't remember which. She's 26, 27. She deleted it, and now of course people are saying, their children, the amount of things you would say to get interaction. Why did you want adults to like be like, yeah, true, like you're so right, like that's so weird. And then of course most people are now saying that they like there's people that agree with her, and of course I'm glad they're exposing themselves, right? Like I'm glad that they're like, oh yeah, like she's totally fine, like 16-year-olds, like cool, you guys should show yourselves so we can get, move on from that and realize you're not someone we want to associate with. But at the same time, this is somebody who is in the sphere of, a more right-wing community, and a lot of us have kind of rejected her at this point, I feel like. But this is probably the final straw for most people. Like everyone was defending her, saying her opinion on, cheating in a marriage is, like, yeah, totally accurate, and her opinions on like motherhood and fatherhood were accurate. I think now people are finally done with her. Thankfully, because she is just, I mean, and I'll spoil this a little bit for people watching. The first deep dive we're doing, the dumpster dive, is going to be about Pearl, and I've had this planned for a while, and she just gave me more ammo to use, so thank you, Pearl. But Chris, what do you have to say about this? This is your article, so what do you have to say about this?
Um, so I posted about this on Twitter. Excuse me, X. I look. I'm a 30-year-old male. So are we allowed to curse?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm a 30-year-old male, so half the shit that she was saying doesn't really apply to me. I'm married. Um, she's spouting off at the mouth. I didn't really have an opinion of her either way. I just knew like a lot of women kind of tended to disagree with her, and then there were some guys that tended to agree with her. And I was like, I don't really know. I wasn't really paying attention.
Right.
And then I was scrolling on Twitter yesterday, excuse me, and I saw the tweet. And I had to read it like 3 times. I was like,
Yep.
did this bitch really just write this? Seriously?
No.
This is what you're saying? Okay. So I shared it, whatever. I watched it throughout the day. People just dragging her, and the whole day it just kept going on and on and on. And so anyway, I yeah, I didn't have any opinions of her. And now once she tweeted that, I was like, all right, well now I got an opinion. Like, fucking wild story, chick. I don't know what's the point you're trying to say. And then I had a bunch of other people that were supporting what she said, and they were arguing with me, and they were, I joked and I was like, oh, I found the pedophile right here. And then they started arguing with me. It's actually not pedophilia. I'm like, that's not the point, bro. Okay. Like, you're getting hung up on the definition of a word. The point is, you're how old and they're 16. That's fucking weird, dude. Weird ass hill to die on. So I don't know what to make of it. She seems like she's just trying to get attention.
Yeah, it just seems like her pipeline from like grifter to pedo just happened kind of
Oh, yeah.
fast. And like, yeah, people say edgy things for views all the time, but like the fact she then deleted it, and like it's very much giving the Nick Fuentes interview that she did where she deleted it and then like doubled down and was like, oh shoot, like I shouldn't have deleted that, and then put it back up. And then like she has a history of like once people call her out, she cowers, and then we'll be like, oh, like I didn't realize, like plays like that dumb into the like dumb girl kind of stereotype.
Yeah.
And like that's just, I mean, for her to do that and like have all of these opinions, and then when she gets pushback, be like, oh, was I wrong? Oopsie, I'm a woman. Like, okay. Like, I make those jokes all the time, but I would never actually use that as a justification for something I did that was wrong. I joke about it if I say something and people are like, oh, like, that's inaccurate or a typo or something stupid. I'll be like, oh man, woman brain, like, sorry. But I never actually would use that in a situation like this. That's ridiculous. And so, Derek, do you have anything to add about this? You've been quiet.
I got nothing to add, to be honest with you. I could care less about Pearl Davis. I really don't know anything about her besides I know she's a grifter and now a pedophile. So that's all I need. That's all
Yeah.
I have to add to that. But
Yeah, they have like the,
Like, okay.
what is it, like,
Well, okay. I don't. Do I actually think she's a pedophile or a hebephile or whatever the fuck that people are saying it that the technical term is? No. Do I think she's actually a stupid person that just likes to say shit? Yeah. Yeah, but at the same time, like, it's a weird ass take, and like, why would you not expect people to push back and give you shit for it? Like, this is just stupid. Why are you doing this?
yeah, and at the same time, like, you have, like, when you're tweeting, it's not like you're talking and you say something and someone clips it and you said something before you thought about it. You have to think about what
Yeah.
you're tweeting. You have to type it out, right? So the fact that you like thought about it and then tweeted it is my problem. So like it's one thing to be like you say that on some stupid, like show that someone's like, I'm gonna clip it and now look out of context when she may have been saying, historically people got married younger and they found like that would be one thing. But no, that was the statement. And it's like I don't know how you're just an idiot at that point. Like you either do not think or you're a creep. And I don't know which one would be worse right now for her. But she's very much that problematic, like people call her the female Andrew Tate for a reason. She's problematic, except everything she says comes back and bites her because she's a single, like childless woman who's trying to tell married women with children how to live. And that's a problem. You're not married. You have no idea what the hell you're talking about. You don't know how marriages work. She thinks that marriages are not a partnership and that they shouldn't be a give and take, and that females should be akin to a secretary and that kind of thing. I mean, I'm not married, but I think I can accurately predict that a marriage is a partnership. And Chris, you're married. You can speak to that more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is people who are not married, people who are not in long-term relationships. Why are you giving other people? I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm not a thin dude, right? I'm a bigger guy. Why would you take health advice from me? Okay? Do you know what I mean? Why are we going to take relationship and marriage advice from the chick who's 26, single, childless? Like, no.
And in her dating history, and yeah, and her dating history is not, like she's had long-term relationships in the past, and so she can speak from experience on like a long-term relationship. She's never really had that. And again, like that's something we'll go into when we do an episode just about her and like all the stuff she's done. I mean, she had an on and off again toxic relationship for like 2 years where they didn't date longer than maybe a couple months at a time. And that was part of her trying to get into the public sphere because it was a TikToker. It's just very interesting that all of these things happened. She also likes to fat shame, and believe it or not, her ex is a bigger guy. So it's like, okay, like you got to make sense here. You got to stop being a hypocrite because you're gonna get called out. People aren't gonna like you, and then you're gonna play the victim. That it's gonna happen. The second that the next shoe drops, she's gonna play the victim. And I mean, it'll be kind of funny to watch just like the downfall of someone who clearly is not genuine. I don't appreciate that she's trying to come into this community when there's so many genuine people out there trying to make their way here. Then we have someone who's just grifting and they're in this community and they make a name for themselves, but they're not genuine about what they say and do. So that's, kind of my problem is the authenticity thing. And that's kind of the world we live in, unfortunately. But Pearl needs to I think she needs to take a few days off of Twitter, X, whatever it's called. She needs to take a few days off the internet and just, like maybe think about her life choices. We have a tweet here from Benny Johnson. And if you want to just like, you don't have to play the sound on the video there, Derek. We can just do like the video. You guys can just, while I'm talking over it. He froze at a press conference and just stood there staring in one specific direction. And that brought up a lot of questions. You can see that he's just like staring off. And as a human, this kind of broke my heart watching an old man clearly have a medical episode. Like he's very clearly having some kind of, there's something, and they intervene and they pull him to the back. And there were questions of, is this a like an absent seizure? Is this a mini stroke? I'm pretty sure it came out now that he had a mini stroke, and I've seen someone have a stroke before, and so that definitely looked like a stroke. It didn't look like a absent seizure because usually there's other symptoms that go with that, but it looked like he was starting to have like a very minor stroke. And I think this really brings into question. He fell earlier this month too. That was a bigger story a few weeks ago. That brings into question like, should we have age limits, term limits on people serving? Because we look at these old people that are. We have another one here. If we can go to this other video from CNN, where Dianne Feinstein was told she had to vote. She was told during a vote, just say aye, say aye, say aye. And she's like, what? And she looks confused and looks around and like, they're like, just say aye. And she's what, 92 or something, I think? She's old. She's very old. And she thought that when she was out for a few months because of some health stuff, she said, no, I've been here the whole time. And she wasn't joking. She's like, no, I've been here the whole time. Like, that's like a joke you might make when you've been away for a while and then you're like, I've been here the whole time. What do you mean? But it wasn't a joke. She was very clearly like, she had to be told to vote and what to vote. We live in a country where now we have geriatric people being told what they have to do. So clearly they're not doing their job. They are not, they're not the ones running the program here. We've got aides. We've got all these other people that are running the program. And I don't have a problem with legislative aides helping out. I do have a problem when they're the ones doing the job that this person was elected to do. So, I don't know. What do you think? Chris, I'll ask you first. Should there be term limits or like an age limit? Like, what do you think should happen?
I'm 50-50 on the term limits because I see both sides of the argument where if you put the term limits in, then there's not enough time for people to really get their grips in and be too corrupt, versus if you don't put the term limits in, you got what's going on right now. I feel like age limit makes a little more sense. I feel, and people are going to say it's ageist, but it's like, yeah, yeah,
Yes, it is.
older people tend to become senile. I'm sorry, somebody who's in their 80s pushing 90 isn't Dianne Feinstein in her 90s now?
Yeah, I
Yes.
believe she's like 92, 93. She's in her 90s. I know that. And
Come
she's
on, dude.
deserving. Yeah.
Come on, dude. We've got plenty of people, my generation, millennials. We've got the Gen Xers. Give it up. Like, let it go, dude.
Well, no, they're
I
getting
mean,
all
Yeah.
you can't do it anymore.
you gotta remember all the
Oh,
benefits they get from being, a sitting member of Congress. They're not gonna give up that kind
yeah.
of power or
Power
No,
privilege.
corrupts
totally.
for sure.
Hey, we've got age requirements to run for office. Why do we have age limits?
Right. Like, why can't a 5-year-old run for office? Like, what's wrong? Like, why can't he? Like, what do
Yeah,
you mean
right.
they've
I
got
mean,
like
they're on the same mental
mental
level. I
capacity?
think that they're on the
I was going to
same.
say,
They're
like, you would think
they're
that
not
they
too.
should be older.
Once you're at that
They're
age,
not too
it's.
far off.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
agree entirely. I think age limits are. I think term limits. It depends on the term limiting. Statute they put in place. If it's for the House, you would need a good number of terms because that's only 2 years. If it's the Senate, it's a 6-year thing. We have term limits on the president. Why don't we have it on other elected officials at the national level? And then, of course, you can bring up the argument of the Supreme Court too. Like they have a lifetime appointment, so like, why would you have it for them? But that's because that's what the founders decided, and we haven't done anything to make it different yet. We haven't passed a constitutional amendment, but it's like quite literally in the Constitution, but not for legislators. And so I think that it's hard to watch these old people age. And despite the fact I know they're corrupt and I don't like them, it's very hard to watch them because I watched my grandparents get old and they ended up passing away. Like my grandfather passed away last year at 98 years old. I would not. I mean, we took his license away at like 90 or something. Like it was bad. We should have taken it away before, but like that was the only way my grandma could really get to the hospital. Um, like if ambulances were delayed or whatever. So, but I'd been in the car with him. It only took one time after he was like 85 for me to be like, I'm never getting in that car again. He was a wonderful man, okay, but like the driving was, I was holding on to the like, oh shit bar. You know what I'm saying? Like I was holding on for dear life. And my cousin was holding on to me in the middle seat. It was, so my grandpa, who was actually pretty with it until probably about 2020, COVID really like lockdowns really like put him back. Like I think like he regressed a lot faster because of that. But he was pretty with it up until about 94. But I still would have never put him in office. And then the same goes for like people that have ailments. So people are critiquing conservatives for being like, oh, the Fetterman had a stroke and so he shouldn't be in office. No, he should not be in office because he had a stroke. And I know that. So like, I mean, I talk about my mom kind of frequently, but she had a stroke when I was 15 or 16. And she was 50 at the time. And I would have never, like, no, never. No matter how bad, you don't put someone who had a stroke in office with that responsibility. Like, I wouldn't let her go to the doctors by herself because she wasn't mentally 100% there. She might forget something. She might forget to say something to the doctor, like, oh, this happened. She's like, I would have to be there, or someone would have to be there, a family member, to be like, oh, well, this thing happened the other day, because she would forget about it. And that isn't to say that my mom wasn't as, still as meaningful of a person after her stroke, but she just didn't have the same abilities as before. And that's the reality of it. That's what happens when you have health episodes. So like I think age limits and like health restrictions. Like we have health restrictions. I mean, they're not as big now, but for like our military, because they have to handle stuff, we have health restrictions there. Like if someone has like not good hearing in one ear, they're not allowed to serve. Like something as small as that, they can't serve. Maybe we shouldn't let people who are, I think there should be some kind of like physical. I mean, I know the president gets a physical regardless if they're accurate or not. We should have something where if you're having these, like strokes or a seizure or whatever because of age, like there should be a cognitive test and a physical test. And I don't mean like lifting weights, but if you can't walk onto the Senate floor, you probably
Or
shouldn't
up a
be serving.
staircase.
Yeah, unless it's like we had what's his name, Madison Cawthorn or whatever, who was a military vet who was in a wheelchair. That's different. But I mean, if it's like you could walk and now you can't because you're old and you're moving at like half a mile per hour, problem. What were you gonna say, Chris?
So I saw a video going around earlier today, and it was from Mao Zedong's I forget exactly what it was, but it was like a government meeting. And so they were saying that generally the Mao was supposed to get up and leave first. Typically, when they had those kinds of meetings, Mao would leave
Yep.
first, and then everybody
Yes.
else would follow. Basically, it ended. Everybody stood up, started clapping, and they're just like, what do we do? We're not allowed to leave because you can't leave. And he's old, he's ailing, and it's just like, do we address reality that you're old and you can't move, or do we leave and then maybe get killed because we disrespected you?
Right.
I'm
Right.
not saying that the United States
Right.
is
Right.
that.
But
I mean, he only killed like 80
The
million people.
inability, yeah, the inability to like be able to address the fact that people are not well anymore and are not healthy. It's dangerous. We got to be able to point out, like, hey, dude, I'm sorry, the emperor's got no clothes. Okay, kind of like what you said about Madison Cawthorn. That doesn't really concern me. If somebody can't walk, okay, fine. Are they mentally sound? Can they think? Can they rationalize their thoughts? All right, cool. Um,
Do
and I
they even
hate
know the
to bring up,
legislation they put forward
you know,
or vote on?
yeah, that's the whole thing. I mean, like, if the fact that Dianne Feinstein is being told by a staffer what to vote on, now whether he knew what she was supposed to vote on, like she had already told him, and he's just reminding her. Either way you look at it, what other reason do you need to see that like our country is run by people who are not fucking there?
Sam,
yeah.
you don't vote. You vote for a representative for them to hire a
Yeah,
staff to do their entire job so they can. It,
they're supposed to take care
Yeah.
of the office work,
hmm
to this, to
Yeah.
that. I'm voting for my representative because you're the one who's supposed to represent me. I'm not
And
voting for the staff. I'm voting for
hmm
you.
Yeah,
exactly.
you'll vote a representative from your district, and then they'll hire a staffer from New York or L.A. or something like that,
Yeah,
and that's who's representing your district in nowhere, Michigan.
yeah,
Okay, well,
exactly.
don't bring Michigan up. I don't know why you had to say nowhere Michigan, but it's true. I mean, there is a whole district which is just the Upper Peninsula and like the Upper Lower Peninsula. So I get what you're saying, but yes, no, I think. And my mom used to work in a nursing home. That was like her job. She was a dietitian at a nursing home for quite some time. There were people in that nursing home that I met when I would go see her at work that were probably more capable than some of the people we have in office today, and that's sad. Like there were people in that nursing home that were more mentally with it than our president. Like that should not be the case. You shouldn't be able to go into a nursing home and find people that are 10 times more competent than elected officials. It should be about the same level of competence. Um, if anything, it is bad. It is bad. Like I'm thinking back to like a lot of the people I met when I was younger and she was working there, and I can think of plenty of people who were better suited for a job like that, and they still weren't suited for a job like that. So that is one of the things. But I do want to take a second here, just while we're on the topic of ailments and all that, um, to know the signs of a stroke, because y'all know I have mentioned that my mom had a stroke. Knowing the signs and symptoms is very important, so I'm going to put that in there because it's a little bit personal for me. Watching this happen broke my heart, I think, a little bit more because of that. So, you can go to the American Heart Association, you can look these things up. I have stuff on my social media where you guys can find resources for that. So knowing that, so that if you have a loved one that goes through something like this, you know what's happening. So I just want to include that so that you guys know what to do. Call 911, get them help. It could save their life. So want to include that. But yeah, we need age limits. We need something. I don't know what it is, but we need to stop hiring, electing old people, and we need to make it so that they can't run if they're going to turn a certain age in office or something. I don't know exactly what that remedy is, but I feel like there's something that we could do. Chris Tyson has now officially come out as trans. So this is one of those stories where I feel like it's never ending for like they want that. They want the like attention in the news cycle. So we have it here. He says, this is when he did, I don't know if you guys remember who Anthony Padilla is. I don't like some of my audience might be too young for that, but Anthony Padilla founded Smosh, kind of OG YouTube. And then now he did repurchase Smosh, but now he also does his own thing where he does I Spent a Day With, and he does a sit down interview and talks to people about like prominent people or like groups of people. Like he does one with like, I spent a day with, I don't know, I'm trying to think of someone that, or like a group of people. Some of them are like people with ADHD or like people that have extreme OCD, or he did one with like school shooting survivors. Some of them are very interesting. Some of them are a little bit like, ugh. So like, just depends on the episode. Anyway, so Chris says, I'm a woman, she, her. I've never said that publicly, but I've been fully confident in that decision for over a year now. And then he said, later in the interview, I wasn't quite sure who I was yet, but I knew I was not cisgender. So I needed the freedom to be able to express myself and be able to figure out who I was. For a while, I was trying gender fluid. I was like, what is making me feel like I'm bi-gender? What is trying to make me wait, what is tying me to this masculinity? Okay, so
Well, I can
for
tell you
those of you
what's
who don't
tying
know,
you. I can tell you what's tying you. It's attached to you. So.
yes, literally there. And if for those of you who don't know the entire story, Chris Tyson was the one. He was Jimmy from Mr. Beast was his best friend growing up. They founded the channel kind of together. I mean, it was definitely Jimmy's channel more than anything, but they were, both doing work on the channel. He was like this southern kind of just like the cliche of like a southern guy. Had a wife and a kid. And now he has left his wife and
Left his wife
deprived his
and
child
kid.
of a father.
Left his wife and kid.
And kid, like I want to be careful of saying left his kid. He left his kid as a father because he's still like actively involved in his son Tucker's life, but he's depriving his child of a father, and that is the most selfish thing you can do. That is like this entire story reeks of selfishness. He's like, I've known for 7 or 8 years that I'm a woman. Why the fuck did you get married and have a child? Why did you bring 2 other people into this? Like, that's my problem, is you brought 2 other people into your life. You created a life with your wife who now is a single mother because you decided, oh, I think dresses are cute and I'm gonna wear it. Like, what the hell is that? I don't understand why. Like, it makes me so angry that you say you've known for this long, and then I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was an instance where he posted on his Snapchat story a picture of his son wearing like strap-on high heels, and he said Tucker decided to slay today. His 3-year-old son in high heels. Yeah. Ever since he has said, I'm on HRT, I'm doing these things. The internet kind of blew up initially, and then he did this interview, and now it's happening again. I don't know how else to phrase it other than Chris Tyson's not a woman.
Well, until he chops off his one thing, I'm gonna say no balls.
I
But
Chris Tyson's not a woman. Sorry. Chris Tyson is not a woman. Chris Tyson is a man who thinks that he is a woman. You can be a trans woman, whatever, but you're still not a real woman. That's the problem, is the language of like, I am a woman. Carry a child. Do it. Bet you can. I bet you freaking can, because that's like the cornerstone of being a woman is even the ability. And then there's the argument of, well, what if there's people? Okay, that's an anomaly in the general case of women. Most
it's like
women have the ability and are able,
0.001. It's like a
yeah,
percent of
most
a
women are
percent.
able to carry children.
Yeah.
And if they're not able to, there's obviously a genetic defect. It's not that their body isn't created for that, it's that there's something preventing that from happening. In the case of people like Chris Tyson, you literally cannot carry a child. You physically are unable to do that for a reason. And you have a child. You deprived your child of a father. What did Tucker do? His kid to deserve nothing? He's an innocent child. He is just an innocent kid. His wife. She's beautiful. He had a beautiful wife. He had a very cute kid. And he decided, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something for me and then claim it's for the betterment of, so I can be my best self for my child.
Well, at least now I know she's single, so.
That's true. You got that going. If you're okay with the kid that has
I think she probably got
mother.
a good settlement, so.
Probably. And they're still on good terms, I guess, him and his ex-wife now. I can't imagine what she's feeling. I can't imagine then goes on this interview. He's wearing heels. He's wearing, he's got longer hair. He's got makeup all over his face. And this is, you know what? I said this when Colleen Ballinger posted her video, but the shade difference between the face and then the neck is just
Oh yeah, it's right here in the article too. Like I can
Yes,
pull it
it
up.
is
Like
so
here,
bad.
let me
If you're
zoom
gonna
in.
wear makeup, damn it, make it the right skin tone. Stop wearing makeup that doesn't match your skin tone. It makes everything worse, especially when you're doing something that people don't like.
And
You're so that much more stupid.
And they complain about
Like-
Trump about having the two-toned and.
His is just natural though. Like, clearly you're wearing makeup because you look like a man, and so.
I like when women get mad about shit I don't understand.
Here, let me put it
Best.
simple
I'm
for
sitting
you.
here like, okay.
Let me
All
put
right.
it simple. The face makeup is a different color than the skin under the makeup, so you can clearly see the difference. There you go. There's
Oh, I thought you were talking
explanation.
about the. I thought you were talking about how the face was like, you know,
The face
it's
face
like
looks
one
like
color
someone
and
put a filter on it, whereas the rest of the body doesn't. Is
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah, saying her face got like a clump of makeup on, and then her neck.
Her?
I'm sorry. I'm. hits
Oh.
neck
I
and.
guess Derek believes that Chris Tyson is a woman. You
Okay,
heard
I
it here
thought.
first.
Okay, I'll be honest. I thought he already came out as a transgender like.
He
a
came
year
out
ago.
as gender non-conforming, and now he's saying, "I'm a woman, she, her pronouns," and
What's
then
the
does this
difference?
horrific woman voice. By the way, I'm not going to subject you guys to that because that's just rude. But like, you can find other videos. I know they played it on a few other podcasts. They've done that. I'll point you guys over to Pop Culture Crisis for that one because they react to it. It's pretty funny because Mary's like disgust is so funny to me. But
What's Pop Culture Crisis? I don't know.
Oh
what that
yeah,
is.
what
it's
is this
little
pop
indie
culture
show that they post on this one little indie website called Timcast. And there's
Never heard
this
of 'em.
like
Yeah.
there's this like ghost chick and this like weird skater dude that do a podcast together.
Every once in a while, they'll bring like a writer on too, and
Yeah, and he is weird.
Yeah,
he
he's
like wears
real weird.
sunglasses inside, and like I don't know how I feel
He's
about
weird?
that.
You say he's weird? Fuck you.
So we'll post. We'll point you guys over to Pop Culture Crisis to watch their reaction because I don't want to play his woman voice on here, but they do. They subject their viewers to that. Thank you. But he basically says like, "Hi Anthony, something something," and it's like this like altered voice, and it's just.
It's the typical
need to
guy
stop.
trying
We
to
need to
sound like a
stop. We
girl
need to just,
voice.
like,
It's the
Listen, like, I'm about to pick up my phone and be like, "Hey God, it's me. Can you come back now?" Because like I am over it, man. I am over it. I am over the way that people are behaving. But my biggest thing with the story is the kid, right? And like the wife and leaving him. And we're creating this, we're normalizing this, and a lot of us are pushing back, but people are wow, that wasn't a sentence. People are normalizing this in society where they're like, yeah, you could have two mothers, even though you have a mother and a father, and one of them just decided to wear makeup one day. Like, that's not normal. Stop teaching your children this is normal. I was listening to a podcast last night, and they said they were going over some Reddit story where the father, like, let his son wear a dress to school, and his second grade son, because his twin sister was wearing a dress, and then he wanted to wear one, and then he got bullied, and the mom had to go pick him up, and it was like, but the people on the podcast were like, just let your kid wear the dress. And I was like, no, your kid's gonna get bullied. Kids don't give a shit. Kids are gonna bully him because that's weird. Because girls wear dresses. I'm sorry, like your kid's gonna get bullied, and he's always gonna be known as the kid that wore the dress on the first day of second grade now, up through high school. It's gonna stay that way. I promise you that. It will stay that way.
You think
Because
we're just
I was known.
Do you think we're just gonna do you know Book of Revelations at all, Olivia? You kind of
I do.
So you know how God leads, and then we get 1,000 years of the devil over Earth. I think we're living through that right now.
He's like, I'm just gonna keep like watching this happen. This is fun for me. He's like watching everything crash and burn. He's like,
no, God left the chat a while ago. I think.
Yeah, God put us all into a group chat and then left. That's what he did. He's like, I'm gonna throw y'all in there, and then I'm gonna leave.
And then he threw the gay little devil in here, and now we have all this shit.
Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna blame Harambe dying. That's just what I normally do.
Yep. Harambe was actually Jesus. We crucified him, and now we get 1,000 years.
Harambe is actually Jesus. That's a great line. I love that for you. Okay. The last story we have here is that there's a new study that Facebook doesn't make people more partisan. No,
You want me
no,
to go
look,
in this? You want me to go in this article? Because I kind of read through it a little
yeah,
bit.
you can do this one.
Okay, so this is from Politico, and basically the gist of it is, in the first, the first paragraph of this article, it says, with Mark Zuckerberg threatened with contempt of Congress charges by the GOP and concerns about mounting AI deepfakes for the 2024 election, uh, you know, basically they came out with this. Facebook and some other things came out right after being threatened, saying, "Oh no, the study that we made says that we actually don't do anything for partisan politics." So
That's true.
everything that happened in 2016 with the Russia,
2020.
yeah, 2020, yeah, all the stuff when they were blaming the Russians, swaying. Now they're saying we actually don't affect politics, even though they were saying they did back in 2016 and 2020. Now when they're being threatened, Mark Zuckerberg's being threatened with contempt of Congress. Now, we don't actually affect how people vote, how people do stuff.
So that's the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard in my life. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. Look, I don't use Facebook all that often. And when I do, it's like more businessy stuff. I use it to get like products I need for my business at a better price. I guess I'll go into like not marketplace, but like groups that sell specific things. So, which there's a whole story there, but I'm not gonna tell it right now because it's ridiculous. But anyways, have y'all seen like the stereotype is that you get into a Facebook argument in the comment section? That's the stereotype of partisan politics. There's a reason you picked Facebook, and there's a reason it's in the comment section. Every time, like there are so many times where I see people going back and forth, and I'm just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy it, but like, it makes people who are of one party more partisan. It makes that divide even deeper.
It's even funnier when you see two family members
I
going
love
at.
that. I love that. That's my favorite.
It's I don't ever go
Or
in
like,
there, but I'll have my mom she'll be going through Facebook and she'll tell me when one family member and another one are absolutely hate each other now because they got in an argument on Facebook and now they're blocking each other and on ad. And it's like, but Facebook does
and then you
enough.
can't like you're not allowed to go to Thanksgiving because
Hmm.
like your aunt's gonna be there, and then your mom's like, I don't want to be there. Like, there's like the fact that that's a stereotype, and they're like, well, here's a study. Yeah, we made the study, but like, forget that. That's not bias. Yeah. So here's our study. Like, if it was like a third party, I'd be a little bit more like,
Well,
okay,
they
that's
brought
still
in
not
a
accurate.
third
But
party
like,
too that they conducted.
oh, okay. That they conducted. Yeah, okay. So like for me, like I know the stereotype is like, oh, you get in a Facebook argument with people. I love those videos of people going through like family drama or like just drama on Facebook that's like really stupid because it's always just like people have wild stories that they'll share on the internet and like people that overshare so then they like get into arguments because they're oversharing. Like that one girl that posted like she's broken and then it's like the next picture is a guy and it's just the he's okay made out of the she's broken or whatever, like the letters he's okay are like standing out.
Oh,
And
I
like
know what you're talking
that, you
about.
know what I'm talking about, like the girls that post like
She's
the
broken,
most
he's Ken.
dramatic shit on Facebook. Yeah, she's broken, he's Ken. That's a funny one. I saw that. Yeah, like those like there's a lot of problems with social media, and I think we all know that. Now, first of all, I will say that I love watching Chris Bertman fight people on Twitter. That's all I'm gonna say. I do enjoy that. That's fun for me to do. I do enjoy his Twitter arguments.
The Chris
It's
Bertman
funny.
arguments are.
And he'll like be serious, and then he'll just get really annoyed and just throw like the pettiest insult at somebody at like 3 a.m.
Everything you post on Twitter is either ironic or just shit posting, and someone will take it so serious.
Guys, it's so good.
It's true.
Like,
It's the best.
especially when you know someone's serious and you know you're not, and then you
Mhm.
just keep going.
I can't remember. I saw something. I remember. I think it was something you posted, and another guy responded that was like completely off topic, and another guy responded to him and said, "Dude, what the fuck are you talking about?" I can't remember when I remember seeing that one. I was like, like you just said some shit post, and they're like, by the way, Obama sucks or some shit like that, and then some guy's like,
And you're like,
Chris is
what is
talking
that?
about how he likes to milk cows. Why do you? I'm just trying to
Like, what
give
do
an
you mean
example.
Obama sucks? Okay. And
And
yeah, no, like
Dude, I don't know if did you guys see like I had a couple people going off on me about Sinead O'Connor.
oh,
You
I
didn't see
think I
that?
did see that. I think I may have seen that.
you go
Because
into the death.
Hey, do you guys know who she is?
I don't.
I know she passed away, and I know she was like an Irish singer or something.
But like, did you know who she was before yesterday?
No.
No.
Okay, generational gap, right? I'm in with you guys. I didn't know who the fuck she was prior to yesterday. I'd heard the name. I knew she was like
Yeah.
some kind of a music artist. When I saw all the pictures coming out and this and that, the only thing I could gather from it was that she was bald. She looked like kind of a feministy type, and she hated the Pope. That was literally all I could gather based off it. I didn't look
Yeah.
her up. I was just like, this is all the shit that's being thrown at me, man. I don't know what to make of it. So I just randomly was like, who the or I said she's basically that. I said she's some feminist lesbian who hated the Pope, and then people were just like, why would you shit on her like that? She just died. And I was like, bro, I didn't know who the fuck she was 12 hours ago. And then
Yeah, didn't you say
I just
something like your wife knew who she was, but you didn't? Or like something along the lines of like your wife was like, oh, she died, and you were like,
All her
she
songs
saw
came out in the 80s, so yeah.
well, I was born in 92. And
Yeah.
like so the guy said something like, oh well, you're being disrespectful. What are you like younger than 35? I was like, I'm 30. Yes, I literally am too young to know who she is. Sorry, buddy. Oh, and then yeah, so my wife,
"Sure, I'm
she
okay,
saw the
please."
post. She didn't read what the heck the headline was. She just saw the post and she's conditioned to think, oh, headline, that means somebody's pissed about something. And she's like, oh, what's this bitch whining about now? And I was like, she's dead. And she's like, oh, fuck.
Nothing right now because she died. Yeah, like she finally
Chris,
shut the fuck
you're
up.
not too
No,
far
but
off from an
Yeah.
article being written about how the Timcast writers are insensitive to dead Irish singers.
yeah, so like I love because like you tweeted that. I'm just looking through the replies
You guys,
now.
I have to see it from my perspective. I don't know who she is. All I'm seeing are just pictures of a bald chick. She looks like a feminist. She doesn't like the Pope. What else, from my perspective, what else am I supposed to make of it?
I love that you said was the hairstyle a choice.
I don't know. I don't know who the fuck she is.
Oh my god.
Well,
I don't know who she is, and I'm tired of pretending like I should have known.
Yeah, no. I didn't. I knew. So once someone was like, "Oh, like she did," like I wasn't obviously like cognizant for the freaking ripping a picture of the Pope, but I had heard about it just in like the history of pop culture in general. I had heard about it at some point in my life, and so when I put two and together, I'm like, "Oh, the one that ripped the picture." Like, okay, that makes like I know who that is now because it was like something about the protest of like priests, like messing with children. But it was just one of those things where like that's how I knew her was like singer and ripped a picture of the Pope. That was the two things I knew about her before she died. And it's sad that she died. I'm not gonna play that down, but it's just like people on Twitter will get so mad. Also, like you tweet the best memes, like this one here that is so funny. Derek, if you can go on his Twitter and just find, it's like you
Chris's.
just scroll down a little bit, and it's there's a
Mitch McConnell.
no, it's the one about the aliens returning a lib because of that pronoun.
Yeah, let me find. I gotta find Twitter.
Oh,
If you go and just scroll down his profile a little bit, there's this one that he shared that like this morning. I didn't even like it because I laughed so hard. I like I forgot to like the tweet because I was laughing at it so hard, and then kept scrolling. I'm gonna like it now, but it's this one that says the aliens returning the lib they abducted after 2 hours of listening to they them explain they them pronouns.
Sorry, the first thing I pull up when I pull up Twitter is Chris Bertman screenshot himself saying "roast me."
Oh yeah.
dude, some of them are funny too.
Yeah, no, like
Oh,
there's
oh,
there's
and
like
Oh, I gotta show this picture too of
The too
they,
easy
yes, the too easy.
with Ian.
Damn,
Too easy?
they're fast.
People are good at this, dude. Like,
Oh
it
my.
is so good. It is so good.
All right, where is how many hours ago was this tweet?
This was like
Oh, this
recent,
is like
dude. Like, the
like
other
10,
tweet, the one.
12 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
Alright.
scroll down. It's like you'll see the Trump story.
God, this guy
You'll see
tweets so much.
keep going down. You'll see it. It's funny as hell.
I
Talk a
probably.
lot of shit, you know that?
Let's see. Nobody talks about men. No.
It's like you'll see like the article about Pearl. You'll see that he said no balls in the women's stalls, and then you'll keep going.
Yeah, I
down.
saw that
That's a good
tweet.
line, by the way. I'm not a
IMDb.
concubine because of Pearl. It's like right around that
Weisenhower.
one.
I love this app.
I think you're probably too far down.
Am I too far down?
It's 9 hours ago.
9 hours.
Oh, I love this app. That was great. I put up like it. I didn't know if it was cupcakes or something that my wife was baking. All I knew was like it looked green, and it was just like I don't know what the fuck this is. I took a picture, I threw it up there, and I had a handful of people just being like, "It's disgusting," and one guy was like, "I'll tell you what it is. It's scum," and I was like,
I
"My
saw
wife
that.
made this."
You're like, you're looking in the
My
mirror, buddy.
wife made
Yeah,
this.
like, calm down. So
Yeah.
funny. This is my wife's baking. Oh man.
Yeah, your Twitter is just a gold mine of just. What
I
are
like when I
these?
catch Bert off guard on Twitter. Like once in a while, I'll say something where he's just like, "Geez," I'll be like, "What the?" Like last night, Bert had
Oh,
tweeted.
he said some shit about your mom, I think.
Yeah, he said telling a man he sounds like his father has the exact opposite effect of telling a woman she sounds like her mother. So then I responded, "This is true, by the way. This is true, by the way." I said, "The only time my best friend and I will say we sound like my mom is when one of us sounds like we're having a stroke." And then he said, "Good God, Olivia, who hurt you?" Dude, like we call it channeling our inner Karen sometimes because that was my mom's name was Karen. So we'll be like, "Oh, I just channeled Karen, sorry," or like if something moves in like a room or like something makes it like a cat makes a noise in the other room, but we like just hear it, we're like Karen. Like we are terrible about it. We make the worst jokes, but like if one of us like trips up a sentence and sounds like we had a stroke, we'll be like, "Okay, Karen," like okay. Like, but if you can't laugh at humor like that, like. Don't like people will be like, "You can't make jokes about dead people." She's my mother. I will joke as much as I want, and you know she would have laughed. She would have laughed. She would have thought it was funny because I used to if I said something and I messed up a sentence when I was like taking care of her when she was sick, I'd be like something like you for a second, and she'd be like, "Stop it!" And then, like, so like it wasn't anything like people get mad at me for that, and I'm like, no, like I literally made these jokes with her. Like she is laughing up there, and if she's not, well, we'll know that if she strikes me down, there was a reason for it. So sorry, Mom, but yes, wow, we went off on a tangent there. But
Just a
point
little
being,
tangent.
the political polarization and the way that people will take things so seriously on the internet is just. How can you say it doesn't exist? I see it every single day. Like I love watching it happen, but like to be like, it doesn't exist.
Have they ever heard of echo
Okay.
chambers and?
He's gaslighting the hell out of the entire American people right now, or at least trying to.
Oh, he
Like,
doesn't want to get
it's not
He doesn't want to get. Zuckerberg doesn't want to get Zucker charged, so.
He doesn't want to get zucked. He's like, I can't have it happen to
I
me.
can't
Only
have
I
it.
can do it.
Not
like,
me.
my guy.
He said sucker charged.
Zucker charge.
Zucker charged.
He's just being a
I
Zucker.
feel like
I
you
don't
were
know what
trying to
you
go for a joke and it just didn't work.
That was
Yeah.
a great joke. What do you mean? I'm a goddamn comedian.
Zuckerberg, sucker charged.
Zucker charge.
You know, I'll get A for effort, okay?
Yeah, there we
can tell
go.
that-
Hey,
it's
it's
an
an
A,
A. It's an A. I'll take. It's an A. I will take.
He probably thinks that effort is spelled with an A anyway.
I
So,
I got. You know what? The whole world's gonna see you in a tutu
spell
next to Ian
oregano. You don't
Crossland.
have it anymore. Spell oregano. Remember that?
I don't remember.
So you definitely think that effort is spelled with an A, but that's all right. So
Well, yeah.
that we just went off. That was just a whole Wow, we just like went through Bert's Twitter.
We did. We just dived in right into your Twitter and made fun of.
But it's like,
I mean, I went through your whole
Bert loves
Twitter
laughing
for
at his own
this.
jokes, and it's my favorite thing ever.
Why can't we just make this a show? Just go through all the shit that I fucking find.
Have like a have like a little
Dumpster
off
dive.
show,
Eric,
just dumpster
Gordon.
dive Bert's Twitter.
Bert's Twitter.
And in this conversation, some guy is arguing with Chris about why he can't get laid because his wife is cucking him. And
it's like that makes sense. And then you look, it's like some guy that's never had a girlfriend is like won't even show his face. I love the people that don't show their face and then insult you, and you're like, okay, but okay.
And then,
no, I've had somebody get mad and say that I didn't show my face, and I'm just like, Google me, bro. It's right there. I'm not hiding myself.
No. Wow. Okay. Wow. Wow. What an episode. I feel like that was the best episode we could have had for a coming back episode. Not a coming out episode, a coming back episode, okay? Like, let's be real here.
Olivia, don't you have to tell everyone something? You have a big announcement.
I'm a straight white man. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching today. Chris, where can people find you?
You could find me on... Fuck, where the fuck can they find me? You might have to cut that out.
You gotta redo that one.
Chris, where can we find you?
I drew a blank. I was like, where the fuck am I?
Well, you got Twitter,
we'll remind you that
Timcast.
you're on Instagram and Twitter, if that helps you, and then we can just restart.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching today. Chris, where can people find you?
I am on Twitter, formerly known as X, or excuse me, damn it, X, formerly known as Twitter. You know what I mean, damn it. Fucking Elon, right? You know what I mean, the Bird app, that one. And Instagram, @manofbert. I like how you guys find this fucking hilarious. I'm actually having a hard time figuring this shit out. And you can go to timcast.com.
Timcast.com. That's Chris.
Go read the articles by Chris and, of course, my sister Hannah Claire, because apparently
Hannah Claire's the homie.
So she's the best. We love Hannah Claire. And make sure you use that new meme format that Chris came up with. Where she says she's like anti all of this narrative or something. It's a really good one. So you guys should use that. It's so good. Yeah. So check out news stories on Timcast. Of course, that's where we get some of our stories, and we always really appreciate that. Don't forget to follow us on Patreon for exclusive content, including bloopers from certain episodes. You'll get more commentary, of course, and then you can follow me on social media @Olivia Claire with 3 A's in Olivia, 2 E's in Claire. You can follow Derek @TheRealDerek Menson. And you can follow the podcast on Twitter/X/whatever the hell it's called @TDFirePodcast. Don't forget to catch clips from previous episodes on our channel, and we'll be clipping certain things from this episode for the next week. We will see you guys either Sunday or next Thursday, kind of tentative depending on, what we got going on. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys later.
Peace.